Today, what I'll do is share you 3 easy steps that cover how to address objections and keep the sales process moving forward. The first step we're going to cover is to validate their objection. Acknowledge their concern to show that you're listening, respect their point of view, and you never want to get defensive. You might say something like, I understand why that might concern you. The reason why you don't want to get defensive is that you don't want to turn the buyer off. This is how they feel whether you agree or not. And so therefore, instead you want to validate that concern. Let them know that you understand before moving on to your next step, which is finding out why it's important to them. And you do that by simply asking, can you tell me a bit about why the implementation time is a concern for you? This will help you understand the underlying concerns and provide context that can help you address the concern, which brings me to my last point, which is after asking why, determine whether that objection is pivotal to the key value proposition that they found most valuable in vetting you out in the first place. If it's not, remind them of their original key priority and see if that's still their main priority. Let them know that this won't be impacted by this objection that they brought up. For example, you might say, our solution offers significant cost savings in the long run. Is that still the main priority? Those cost savings will not be impacted by this implementation process. With that being the case, would this be a deal breaker for you? If it is pivotal, then you'll need to address it if possible. This could be in the form of finding a workaround or an alternative. If it's not possible, then they're just not a qualified prospect until the objection is no longer valid. Remember, in order for a prospect to be qualified, they must have a need and they must have a means to buy from you. In this scenario, they either wouldn't have the need because it doesn't address one of their key pain points or goals that they chose to work with you for, or it could be a spend barrier to entry that cannot be resolved. These are all situational, but in my experience, if they have the money to pay for your offering and it's simply a price issue, that's usually more likely to be overcome if your pricing is flexible and customizable by the individual client. I'll say something like, our pricing is customizable for every single client. We do not want that to be the reason we don't work together. Why don't you tell me a bit about what pricing you need and give me some context as to why that pricing is important for you. From there, if there's no need for it because the solution is no longer addressing something that they were coming to you for, then that is much less likely to be overcome unless either their needs change or your solution changes. For example, let's say they're looking to automate their backend reporting as their main value driver, but your offering is lacking a key integration that's necessary for them to be able to automate their backend reporting. And that's their objection. Unless you can integrate with their platform that is required to automate their backend reporting, or it becomes redundant, or an alternative need is available that you can help with, that objection is very likely to be a barrier to entry, preventing you guys from partnering together. It's always better to be honest and walk away in the short term than creating a scenario that could damage the long-term potential of your partnership and the reputation of you and your company. At the end of the day, sales is about helping people. And if you can't help somebody, then you're better off trying to find somebody else that you can. And you can always revisit in the future if something changes. Implement these tips and you'll be able to effectively address objections, overcoming the ones that aren't deal breakers and avoiding wasting time in the ones that are. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of our latest sales tips. Remember, if you're not helping, you're not selling.